Welcome to the Uncrowned Podcast. If you've seen us here before, we're in a little bit of a setup. If you're new, welcome. We're currently recording in the Black Experience studio. Hopefully, moving forward, this will be our new location for recording podcasts. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm just Mike.
And the whole aim of this podcast is to help men's mental health, lifestyle, psychology, and a little bit of overall motivation. And it can get a lot of profanity.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It can be a little comical,
when we get y'all fired up.
All right.
You got the energy drink going.
Dude, this is my second one today. I took that pre-workout this morning, which also are unofficial sponsors, speaking of pre-workout, is Axe & Sledge Supplements. It's what's been fueling my my competition prep. So I'm on their pre-workout protein powder, on their sleep supplement to help knock my ass out because I have a hard time sleeping.
I saw the stack the other day.
Oh, yeah. I got more coming, too. So we'll try that out. Now, I have been trying to get their energy drink, but you can't get them in stores. I have no idea where they are. They must have sold out like instantly.
Only you had a resource there that could help you out.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Axe & Sledge, they pulled away from the deal with GNC. I want to say they're in Vitamin Shop now. But other than that, if you click the link in any of my social media bios, or if you just go on their website, Buttice, Buttice 10, or my link will get you 10% off. And I guess our other unofficial sponsor is LFG Seltzer Company. You know, the seltzer that fucks. We used to drink those a lot, but
LFG. We've been waiting for you to come to Chicago.
I know. They gave me a little false hope because they were getting a distributor closer in the Midwest area. But they're not bad when they're ice cold. They're 8% tall boys. The problem is, though, I can't drink right now. So otherwise, we'd be getting a lot more of them because they just came out with their new flavors. It was blue raspberry and then their pink Starburst flavor.
Yeah.
So if you end up ordering from them, kind of give me a shout out as a plug from there. But other than that, I think that's about it for sponsors. We don't have a bourbon to shout out today.
No. I saw you found the other one. That's a gift for Pops. It was his birthday yesterday. So.
What do you mean? I found the other
one
one
in the kitchen.
Oh, I mean, I didn't find it. It was just sitting there.
Yeah. Well,
it's kind of hard to find something when it's already being left out.
That's true.
Yeah. But don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe to the podcast before we get started here. That way you are notified, especially now that we have a new setup. You know, we have better audio, better video coming to you, and we're going to get some short-form content to help better promote the podcast. I know a lot of people have been waiting for better quality stuff from us because the message is there. People love the message. People keep asking me. A lot of people from my work, and I know your work as well, they all follow along to the podcast. They all like it.
Yeah, it's just us getting the right setup for like you said, the audio, the visuals, and so, you know, getting it on Spotify, YouTube, and those different things.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to be switching over platforms from the podcaster Spotify over to a hosting platform called Podbean. I heard that's a really good one to get it out there. So hopefully when we make that switch, we'll be able to better distribute it a lot more. And then also even my bodybuilding competition stuff, I would be also a really good rep for our own stuff. You know, a lot of bodybuilders have their own supplement companies, have their own merch line or whatever. Well, I already have all that. So I'm already coming into the picture with kind of like a pre-built community, a pre-built following. I really, if I could find the time of day, you know, besides wiping my own ass, to really focus on getting the community back up and running again, I feel like that would be really nice for me. I keep burping because of this damn energy drink.
Well, let's get to the topic at hand. Why we're here? Why we're here today?
To jerk each other off.
I don't think that's it.
No. Not this time.
No,
come
we
on,
don't
man.
have the couch.
Come on, we don't have the casting couch.
We're
not on the couch anymore.
Chairs this time.
Oh man, no.
It's gonna throw people off when they don't see us on the couch. They're like, "What happened to the two dudes on the couch?"
Dude, it's throwing me off right now. If only we were live right now too. I feel like that might be a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, then I'm used to the bourbon glass in my hand. I don't have that. I feel naked. But I'm not.
I was gonna say, please don't. No, so the topic.
Ladies, you know. That's how we get viewers, right?
Right. That's on a different link.
OnlyFans.
No, we are moral individuals and human beings. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We're fuckheads. No, so the topic today, like my training partner Stefan, he brought up a really good idea, and ironically, it fits because I just got finished reading a book about it. And it's about taking ownership, the lack of ownership that we see in society right now, especially we're going to cater more towards the males here. So that's pretty much what we're going to primarily be talking about. And also, how do you even start taking ownership? A lot of people don't even realize it. They will not take ownership subconsciously because a lot of our actions are subconscious.
It's so weird watching you on the screen. That was just throwing me off.
Yeah, no, it's different. I like how I'm facing this way so I can focus on you, and you're focused on... We're still going to get used to the new setup. It's going to take a little bit. But I think we both can bring a lot to this topic. One, because that's kind of how the way you lived your life. And this is the way that I'm kind of headed with mine, right? Ever since I've gotten clean, I cut out a lot of my bullshit. And, you know, I'm trying to really move my life in a more positive direction, in a direction that I know it can go. A lot of it has to do with taking ownership because of the lack of ownership that I've taken over the past 2 years. And a lot of the base ideas stemmed off of the last book I read, Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink, which, gentlemen, if you don't read...
Sorry. I don't read. I don't know what he wants from me.
I don't know.
I'm not a reader.
For being as intellectual as you are, I don't know how you don't read. At least, not even like audiobooks, at least.
I fall asleep. I fall asleep when I read.
Maybe that's an attention problem.
Dude, I can't keep the focus.
Really?
Yeah.
I know your type. If I put a skinny Latina here.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a Latina.
Lately it's been.
I mean,
if I put one of them right there, or I'm not going to name drop because this is public. If I put you know who from you know where right there, yeah. I know damn well you will be focused like a dog, just sitting there going, "Yep, whatever you need. You want me to read? I will read right here." As a matter of fact, I will read to you. And we'll go line by line as I am watching.
This is taking ownership, folks. You know, like sometimes you just, you know, he's pointing out some of my flaws. You know, we all have it. We have our egos that we have to keep in check, and it gets in our way.
Yeah, 100%.
It's in our relationships. It's in our work. We have egos, and there's also in this generation there's an entitlement. Like, well, I deserve that. Well, who says you deserve that? You do.
Yeah, we just went over this on the ride here.
Yeah. Just because you feel that you deserve something doesn't mean that an employer or a partner feels that you deserve it. Some things you have to earn. You have to start from the bottom and work your way up. You can't just walk in and be like, "Hey, I'm going to be the boss today." What makes you think you should be the boss? You know? Mm-hmm. Well, I feel that I've earned it because I've done this and this. Okay, that may have been there, but not here. You have to work from the bottom and work your way up. That's how most things are. You start with a foundation and build yourself up. You don't just go right to the top.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think kind of like how you said earlier with living in such an entitlement generation, why do you think we've come to that? Just social media, parenting?
Some of it is
wokeism.
Parenting. Yeah, some of it is wokeism. Dude, I wish I had an answer for that. You know, this generation just feels that they should be handed things. And honestly, it might be just a generational thing. Our grandparents had to work for everything that they had. Mm-hmm. Now, and I even see like how I take care of my daughter and things that she wants.
She's spoiled.
Yeah, she's my only daughter. She's on my parents' side of the family. She's the only granddaughter. So she gets a lot more because of that, where I had two brothers. Mm-hmm. You know, so whatever I had, you know, when it came to Christmas time, we got a nice TV. It was, hey, your brother and I got a TV. You know, you guys got this for Christmas. You have to share it.
Yep.
You know, if we got a gaming console, we had to share it because my brother and I were only 2 years apart. But then my other brother and I are 8 years apart. So there's a bigger gap.
Yeah.
So he got his own room. Yeah. He got his own TV. You know, so there's a different... So the way that him and I grew up, even though I was in the same household, my one brother and I were growing up different than my younger brother in the same household. And how he gets things and how he was handed things is different than how I receive things. My brother and I had to share. Hand-me-down clothes. He got stuff that I wore.
I remember getting stuff from my cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my youngest brother always got new stuff. You know, so he has a different like outlook and perception, and he's looking more toward, you know, how I live my life and the things that I've achieved. And, you know, he told me the other day, he's like, I really look up to you and what you've done. Mm-hmm. And we talked about like having male role models and stuff like that. But I think in this generation, and like I said, how I treat my daughter is, you know, I try to have her earn things, but at the same time, I want to give her things that I didn't have. So it's trying to find that balance. And if you give them everything all the time, they automatically assume that, hey, well, I should just get it because...
Right. Yeah, it's like finding that balance of like, I want better for you than what I had, but also I don't want you to not work for anything.
Right.
So it's like that give and take, and because it's your kid, you're like, I have to pull back because I love you, type deal.
Like I said, it's definitely a generational thing, and my parents didn't have the ability to give me the things that they wanted to at times, whereas I'm in a different position than they are. I learned from my parents' mistakes, and I'm in a better position financially at my age than they were at my age. So I'm able to do more for my daughter than maybe they were able to do for me. And I think that just continues through generations, which creates a different dynamic on mentality, on, work ethic and, how people approach relationships. I mean, this is why I think our society now, and part of it is social media, on how we approach dating.
I think a big part of it is social media.
Before if you needed to meet somebody, it was, hey, you have any, your girl have any friends that they could hook me up with, or
know what I mean? I mean, that's how I ended up meeting my fiance, Rebecca. Outside she was the one person I've met outside of like a social media environment, besides my latter ex. But that was I made the mistake that we worked together.
Yeah,
which never happened again. Obviously, I'm getting married, so that won't ever happen. Period.
Right.
But you're right in terms of like that's all people know now, and I think growing up in a certain era, I think when you only know a certain thing growing up, that just like how our subconscious dictates our reality, we're being fed, okay, this is how things are. And so you almost are training your brain from such a young age to be like, this is just how it is. This is how I receive things. This is how I need to act. This is how I do act. And I feel like that is just extremely tainting just our, I don't say Western culture, because there are a lot of other cultures that don't necessarily follow true with everything that we're doing, and we're not exactly doing everything right. And so this is even a conversation that I've had to have with my fiance in terms of like, let the kids struggle a little bit. I understand you're the mom, you want to coddle, you want to love them and everything like that, but that's going to end up harming them more it is helping them, especially when there's 3 boys involved, because as men, we go through struggle. And if there is no struggle, that's how you end up with the kid. I'm going to still say kid, who's 30 years old, still living at mom's house, still playing video games, still on his bullshit. And before someone even says, oh, what's wrong with playing video games? A lot of things, if it's done in excess. If video games is your escape, and we're going to do a podcast on this later about wrestling with a purpose, is do it with a purpose, right? Make sure that it's only in a lot of time, but when it's living in that excess, and then you're still feeling like, I can't do X, Y, and Z because I was never afforded the opportunity, and that's why I still play video games, or, I'm dealing with anxiety, so that's why I play video games for 8 hours a fucking day. Well, guess what? Get off your fucking ass, take some goddamn ownership, and start living your fucking life. At a certain age, after a certain point, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna give a shit. No one's gonna be there for you. At some point, take the fucking pacifier out of your goddamn mouth, the butt plug out of your fucking ass, release some of that hot air you have in your fucking head, go out and live life, because at a certain point, as men, we know no one's coming to fucking save you.
I just want to know why there's a butt plug in.
Because something's up there making you all...
I'm trying to figure out the butt plug thing.
Because something is stuck up their goddamn ass that's making them all fucking high and mighty, high and tighty, hoity-toity, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to the point where...
The butt plug does that? I didn't know that's what it was for. I thought it was for other things. But I've never used a butt plug. I don't know.
No, neither do I, but I know the reaction when you shove his thumb in there, they go, whoop!
That'll shock you.
Exactly.
They don't call it the shocker for no reason.
I don't know, but all I know is when you pull it out, finally they get, oh, okay. Well, guess what? They need a fucking, oh, okay, with their whole fucking life and realize, oh, okay, I should probably be doing something. Oh, okay, you know what? Wow, what's a good fucking example? I think, honestly, having a good woman can push you to have ownership. Because nowadays, they're far and few in between. But if you find one that's not going to take no bullshit, she's going to require you to do certain things or walk in a certain way in order for you to be a part of her life, and vice versa. And you have to walk in a certain frame and have a certain level of ownership to even have a good woman by your side. Otherwise, they're not even going to give you the time of day. You're going to keep getting hoes. 304s. Women that ain't worth shit. I mean, the same thing goes to women. You need to take some level of ownership too. But I'm appealing to the men right now because not a lot of women listen to our podcast.
Right.
Even though they probably should, because they could probably take some notes.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% it does.
Taking ownership in even in relationships, both parties have their flaws and recognizing what those are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is where, you know, you asked me about your current relationship, and I was like, you're the red flag.
At the beginning?
Yeah, at the beginning. You're like, what do you mean? I said, you know, because we always, if you have a true good friend, he's going to tell you straight up, like, what the red flags are and what he sees. Because you're so close into it. I see it from a distance, and I see what you tell me. I don't see her side of it. I only see what you tell me. So I give you my perspective from my viewpoint, which is coming from you. And in the beginning of the situation, I told you. I was like, you're the red flag. And you were like stunned. Like, what do you mean? You know, our ego, boom, we just, can't be me. What do you mean I'm the red flag?
And that was the first time I had ever heard that.
Yeah.
Because I've dated some toxic women before. Yeah. Like alcoholics, abusers. But fucking one of them cost me my job. The other one cost me almost my car. Like, so I'm not used to being the problem. Or at least the main problem. I've been toxic before, don't get me wrong. I've been a petty asshole. But I'm not used to being, no, you're the main issue here. And be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, you were like, how so? You know? And then I told you, and you're like, oh, I could see that. Sometimes we can't take ownership because we don't recognize it.
Mm-hmm.
We think everything we're doing is fine. But until someone that's close to you that you respect says, hey, man, you might want to cut this out because this, and this.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do to her oldest. It's almost like what you did to me, like, all right, I see what's going on here. Here's the reality check.
Yep.
But you did it in like the most perfect way, though. You're like, hey, you know, we're still friends, but like what you're doing in certain areas, that's going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want this, you're going to need to knock X, Y, and Z off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the way that you put it, I just caused you to sit there and like, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And I had to humble myself in order to be able to recognize that.
It makes you think about it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You're like, well, am I doing that? And then when you think about it, and you're like, oh, shit, I am.
Right. But then here's the reality of the situation, though. After that, and then a couple other things had to take place for me to finally, you know, come around. But that required me to take ownership of, okay, no, you're right. Humble myself, death to my ego, because I'm in the wrong here. Yep. There are certain things in my life that I was doing that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And in turn, it was hindering me from the gym, from work, from my relationship. So I had to put a lot of things to rest and understand, and I'm still dealing with that stuff to this day, that because of the consequences of my own actions, I'm in the position where I'm in. So now I own all that, recognize it, and now I need to take the steps moving forward to correct the said actions.
Yeah. Now you could have said, fuck that. I'm going to keep doing me, you know, because some people say that. Fuck him. I'm going to keep doing me.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that? I'm going to do me. Okay, do you?
The other day.
Do you, boo-boo? Yeah.
And
how's that working out for you? Because you've told me this is your goal. Whatever that goal is. I want to get this job. I want this relationship. I want to get married. You know, whatever personal goal you have, awesome. Mm-hmm. Guess what? What you're doing is not going to get you to that goal. You know why? Because you're doing this, this, and this. And that's going to hinder you from reaching your goal. Mm-hmm. And if you take those things out and start doing these things and do things the right way, then you'll achieve your goal. Mm-hmm. You know? But you have to be able to, like you said, you have to listen, you have to humble yourself, and you have to make the changes.
And I think what's hindering a lot of people from even recognizing that, or at least what's hindering me, is what I had said earlier about living a certain way for so long that you no longer see it as an issue because it dives into your subconscious. Mm-hmm. And really, it is a lack of self-awareness in a sense of, okay, I need to recognize what's hurting me, that what's hurting me is my own doing. It all falls on me. And some people are so egotistical that they have such a hard time doing that in order for them to really get that reality check of like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah. They need to be pushed into a corner. And this is kind of what I bring up all the time on the podcast is men need to be pushed into a corner in order to grow. You need that oh shit moment where you're either going to sink or swim.
Back against the wall.
And one or two things is going to happen. It's going to be one of those.
Yep.
And I've sank before. I've said fuck it before. Mm-hmm. And that led me almost dead.
Can't say fuck it all the time. It doesn't work.
No.
I mean, I tried.
Oh, we went over this too.
We went over this too. Fuck it, but again, in the right times.
Right. There's a time and place for it.
Yeah, there is.
I said fuck it to everything.
You did.
And then God called my bluff, and I went, okay, you win. Guess I got to do it your way now. And that has led me here. There are so many different things that had to take place for me to get to this point. And I'm grateful for every single one of those hardships because it has put me in such a good mentality, in such a good position to be able to condition myself to be a benefit for everyone else. But I had to get pushed up against that wall. I had to have life take me, throw me up against the wall, and either say, you're either going to be a bitch or you're going to be a fucking dog. And I said,
even right now, like you're in a much better position now, even though like financially you're like, dude, I got like $16 in my account. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Financially, no, you're not in the right position, but everything else, you're in a way better spot than you've been in the last 3-4 years. Way better. You got to realize that some things take time. You know, some things take more effort. Some things are going to require you to be consistent. And you're going to have other hurdles that come along the way. And you can't have it all today. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. Everyone wants it right now. It doesn't take that. You want that job? Well, guess what? You might have to go take these classes. You might have to get these certifications. You might have to put in some time at that job and work your way up. And it could take 2, 3, 4 years. You're not going to get that today. It's going to take time. You have to be patient. You have to be consistent. And eventually you will get there, but you have to be persistent. You have to be consistent. You know? It fucking rhymes. But, you know, you've done some of the hard work to put yourself in a much better situation. Now you've just got to continue to that path that you're
I was going to say, that hard work can't stop there. I can't be like, oh, I got started. Okay, cool. I can lay off the gas pedal.
Don't get complacent. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to keep pushing forward and realize that there's more that you need to achieve. You're not done. Mm-mm. The minute you're like, oh, I'm content, you're done.
Dude, right now I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have that conversation. I'm going to have that conversation with my fiance and be like, we have our 2 days. I will do my absolute best to guarantee us the 2 days, our date nights and our family days in church. Because those are, so far, been a very good staple in our relationships. And gentlemen, I recommend that also. Like, take ownership over your fucking relationship. You're supposed to be the leader, right? Take ownership. You want a good relationship? Take that lead. Set those boundaries. Have those things in place. And don't waver. I know we want to see each other more. I know we want to communicate. But guess what? Right now, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of living in a separate household. I'm tired of struggling paycheck to paycheck. So I'm going to bite that fucking bullet and I will live at one job or 2 jobs or whatever on top of doing all this other stuff to help other people along the way to make sure that, hey, guess what? Maybe instead of in a year or 2 from now, we maybe scrummage up enough money to get that $200,000 house and barely make it by. No, instead, I want to make sure that I can be home 4 or 5 days out of the week, work maybe 2 of them, run my own shit, and we're living in a $600,000, $700,000 house later on.
Right now, and this is where not a lot of people think of that big picture, the long-term picture. They're more of that immediate reaction of how they feel right in this moment. Like, well, I feel neglected right now. Yes, but you have to look at the bigger picture. Why do you feel neglected? Well, you're not around much. Why am I not around as much? Because I'm working. What am I working towards? I'm working to give us a better future, a brighter future, a more longevity in our future as far as like stability in our household, our finances. Yeah, so we can take vacations whenever we want, go wherever we want. Mm-hmm. Or you can see me a lot more, I'll make less money, and we're going to struggle all the time. Which do you want?
Yeah.
Which one? You know?
Yeah, and gentlemen, you cannot wait on anyone else to take that action for you. Grab it by the fucking reins and handle it yourself. Be like, no, this is how it's going to go down. No, this is how we're going to run things. Part of being the man in the relationship is making sure that your woman has the least amount of worry as possible. As long as it's within your control, take control of it. Stop waiting for someone to make that fucking move for you. And that was my biggest fucking issue. Especially like when it was coming to the job shit. when it was coming to, the gym or other things. Be like, I was waiting for everyone else to make that move for me, wait to help set me up with jobs, wait for,
I'm aware.
I know, waiting for certain things to fall in line instead of being like, no, if I keep waiting around, those opportunities will never fucking come. My job offer today would have never came if I didn't have that position right in front of me and be like, hey, you guys even hiring? All right, what does that take? Cool, done. All right, now I start next Thursday.
And sometimes things just come your way because you're doing the right things, right? Mm-hmm. And I know how much you believe in God, and I think that, when you're a very religious person and you believe in doing the right things, that God will reward you. You've been doing the right things, right? Therefore, he's extending that olive branch to you and saying, all right, Joe, I got you on this one. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to throw you that olive branch, right?
Yeah, it was...
But before, you were like, fuck, what am I fucking doing?
Yeah.
Where is he? Why isn't he helping me? I pray and I ask and I beg and I plead because you weren't doing things the right way. And you were using, you were drinking, you're staying out late, fornicating, you were doing all the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
And now here you are, you're setting yourself up in that right path, doing things the right way, and things are slowly progressing in the direction that you want them to. And it's, like you said, you got to stay hungry and you got to stay consistent. You can't allow yourself to fall back and become complacent to the point where you start going back to your old habits because it was comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep going forward, and you're going to be rewarded for it, and you're seeing it.
I think two of the biggest struggles right now in this whole situation is going to be like my physical health, especially with training with this competition. I'm already training at a deficit with my disability, but then putting my body through such an extreme with the competition, making sure I take ownership in that level, in that sense, be like, no, I'm the one that's in charge of my body, what I put in my body, what I get out of my body, and making sure that I am doing everything that I can to perform optimally in the way that I need to, because I'm striving for something greater than the average human is that you could even think about even fucking doing. And then also in another sense, making sure that I'm taking ownership of my emotions and how I respond to situations. Right now, my hardest thing is being able to praise God in both the hills and the valleys. Mm-hmm. Being able to be like, all right, awesome. Thank you, God. I got this. I got that. I got this. But also, thank you for still even allowing me to be here, even though I feel like I have nothing. Like, barely enough money to put gas in the car and food on the fucking table. But you know what? I know that you will take care of me. I know things are extremely hard right now, but I know that you will take care of me. It is about taking ownership in every single aspect of your life, not just some, but every aspect. In my relationship, at our jobs, making sure that regardless of whatever situation happens, it is on us to some degree. So like in your job, you have to take a lot of ownership in your job. You are in charge of people's fucking lives. Yep. Sometimes.
Not just my crew, but the people we take care of.
Bingo. So it's all about really making sure that no matter what happens, who could you have communicated better to? Stop being like, oh, this didn't happen because that person failed to do this, failed to do that. No, you're in a leadership position. So that means if something didn't happen, that was because somewhere along the line, you forgot to double check something. Or you forgot to make sure that everyone was on the same page, or something was communicated effectively enough, or maybe you missed the mark by like seconds. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's extreme and, someone's life is on the line, or maybe it's as small as, oh, you were a couple hours late on a deadline.
Yeah, in our job, it's about the details.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. The little things do matter.
And for those of you that don't know, he's a lieutenant at a fire department.
End of the year.
Well, just like you told me how I'm not a pro bodybuilder until I get that card, you're not. What's your next position?
Battalion chief.
Yeah, you're not battalion chief until it happens.
It's coming. End of the year.
Same with my pro card.
They already told me. But the difference is, I've already got it coming. It's already happening. They've already told us it's happening.
Yeah.
You still have to earn yours.
Yeah.
I've already earned it. It's just a matter of some formalities to take place. But yeah, it really is in the details and paying attention to the little things, because the little things will add up to big things. And if you pay attention to the smaller stuff, those bigger things will come. Mm-hmm. If you're only worried about the big stuff, you're gonna miss something. And I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to stick to our topic of ownership without getting off track here.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, we have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, we do that. So I'm trying to stick on topic here without straying here. I feel like we got more podcasts that come out of these podcasts.
Oh, we always do. They always build on each other.
But it really is. It's the small things, the small details that matter. And if you pay attention to those, then you don't have to worry about some of the bigger things, because the small things will take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
So how to. I mean, that's a very generic statement. I get it, but
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the most generic things oftentimes can make the most sense.
yeah,
I mean, just the one of like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yes, it's a very generic statement, but the depth of that statement, given the situation, can go very, very far.
yeah, we've used a lot of statements like that.
Right, right. But I mean, just in the sense of me trying to, for instance, take ownership of the relationship that I'm in and the family dynamic. I'm stepping into a role as stepdad, which requires a lot of ownership on my part. I didn't have to do that.
No.
But I see it as I have the opportunity to influence a younger generation of men. I mean, I already do this all the time on my social media anyway.
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
Right, exactly. I have the opportunity to step in where someone else stepped out, and basically,
But you have a direct impact here.
bingo, other people have to seek me out. They have to pay for my coaching calls.
Yeah, they have to be inspired by things that we say here, whereas these kids are a direct reflection, or they're going to be a direct reflection of how you and your fiance handle your relationship, how you guys handle adversity, how you approach your careers, because you're kind of, like you said, you're establishing those habits, and those habits are going to then progress into them and how they approach life. So, you know, again, building those good habits and being that good mentor and that leader is really important, especially for the younger generation.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
what,
we don't have these woke ass kids.
right? Seriously. We're trying. They're just stubborn as shit.
Yeah. I'm going to go to work and pay me, but I don't actually want to do the work. Fuck does that work?
Right?
How about no? Get
Well,
out.
Or I want to work and do all my own stuff, but you know, you still have to pay for me and take care of me and all that. But you see I have money coming in.
Yeah. Everyone wants to just like do the easiest shit. Like, oh well, I'll just do social media. Everyone thinks that they're not everyone can do social media and get rich doing it.
Dude, even my channel slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
And it started to pick up when I started being more active, but that's another thing I need to take ownership of. Being consistent, making sure that I have multiple videos, quality videos, because everything has to be fucking cinematic, because you attention deprived pricks.
Here we are in high def. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about my fans here. I'm just talking about us as a culture in general. Everything has to be more. They have to be better. They expect so much, and it takes away from the message. Like I get messages still weekly about how much I'm helping people and everything like that, but my content only goes so far, as opposed to like the very aesthetically pleasing, and it has the good transitions and the good editing. Because for some reason they care so much about the superficial shit rather than the true message and the meaning that could actually change people's fucking lives.
Right.
It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I mean, in a sense, it does, because that's what they're being fed and that's what they're used to. And they're like, oh, that's what I'm going to try to emulate. Not realizing that my content is not for the faint of heart.
No.
The stuff that we put out should not be taken lightly, because this is the stuff that if you take what we say and implement, regardless, I'm not saying it's going to make you rich or famous or, you know, you're going to be the next Jeff Bezos, but you can't tell me what we put out day in and day out in terms of getting men masculine again is not going to help the common folk. I get it. You have your Andrew Tates, you have all that other shit. Those are for the guys that are like, oh, if you want multiple wives, want to be a millionaire, not everyone fucking wants that.
No.
This is where I feel like we come in as, you know, average Joe and just Mike. We're for the everyday dude. We're the ones that just let us work, let us take care of our family, let us be the best man of the household that we could possibly be. And to me, that is a bit more of a butterfly effect than striving to be the millionaire banging 3-4 women at the same time. To be a true, godly, sound, stoic man.
Who was it that told me this the other day? Something about, they did a poll on what people value as happiness. Mm-hmm. And it was like an insanely high percentage was just being with their family.
Yeah.
It wasn't being rich. It wasn't having fancy cars. Wasn't extravagant vacations. It was just being with their family.
Oh, dude, think about where we are right now in society. My fiance has to work full-time. I have to work full-time, if not double full-time, depending on the situation. Well, now that's time apart. Mm-hmm. All we want to do, and we have a happy relationship. Think about all the people that don't. We saw the study about the percentage of guys that don't even have friends or barely have enough friends to count on their fucking hand, let alone a partner. Yep. We're living in a very lonely society. So, of course, the highest thing that people desire, because that is who we are as human beings and one of the most existential thing of the human experience, is family, having communion with someone, a partner, a friendship, a home. I don't care what bad bitch, boss bitch, I don't need a man, whatever saying ass thinks that she can just go off in her stony lonesome. You look at those women 20 years from now, they're fucking miserable with 17 different cats.
Yeah.
They're fucking miserable. Why? Because at the end of the day, everyone strives to be a parent, a grandparent, have friends, have neighbors where you can come over and knock, hey, how you doing? Let's go fucking barbecue. Yep. As human beings, subconsciously, that's what the fuck we crave. And because of everything that's being taught to us and drove into us and everything, it's taken away of that. We buy into this fucking culture. We get woke. And then later down the line, when reality and life fucking hits us, we look around and go, oh, they were right all along. I don't want this. This is not fun. I'm very lonely.
Yeah.
I have a new Louis bag, but I'm lonely. I have a body count of 104 and people want me, but I'm lonely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. You can sleep around.
Bad bitch.
Yeah, congratulations. You can sleep around. Yeah, sure. I'm sure people want to sleep with you, but no one wants to stay with you.
Yeah, there's a reason.
That really shows your value. And this is where you have to take a little bit of ownership of yourself and be like, oh, all men ain't shit. Really, honey? Because if all you're attracting are shit men, what the fuck is it about you that only attracts shit men? Because last time I checked, you reap what you sow. And the same thing fucking goes for men. If all they're doing is sleeping around with Lord knows who, being the stereotypical, I'll screw anything that walks with legs, what does that say about your value as a man?
Yeah.
I know I've been there. I've been a very low fucking value man. And I regret a lot of shit. Shut the fuck up. You shut your mouth. We are not going to talk about this in a public setting. Boy. I hold a lot.
Look at the time.
Yep.
It's getting late, isn't it? Woo.
But again, I wasn't in the right space. I was a very low value man.
You were not in the right space at all.
How much are you going to dig that knife, man?
I mean, forever.
Yeah, there are some things that you were going to hold over my head, but we will take that to the fucking grave.
Yeah.
You will tell no one.
I don't need to.
There is a lot I wish I could take back.
Yeah.
I am a changed man. Lord has taken away my sin. I do not want to think, look, or talk about that past life. I own what I fucking did.
Yeah, you did.
And I move forward with my life, and I'm very happy where I'm at in my relationship. And
moving forward, not looking back.
I love my fiance.
Yep.
Very much.
Oh, wow.
Fuck you.
I mean,
but that said a lot of my value as a man. And in order to have the great partner that I do, who, you know, even though we don't have a lot right now, she's been the most supportive one of all. We've had our ups and downs, yeah, but in the end, we've been able to come together, and honestly, going to church together has helped us tremendously. Trying to put God in the center of our relationship and, you know, going about things a little bit differently has helped us leaps and bounds. It's a way for us to connect on a completely different level. But in order for me to even have that and cultivate it, and let alone lead in it, there was a lot of stuff that I had to own up to as my value as a man. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, nope, this doesn't serve me anymore. Go away. I don't want you anymore. I don't want that life anymore.
Took that ownership.
Oh, 100%. You have to.
You had some really good advice, too.
Dude, 100%.
Got you.
I know. But, I mean, that's why we stress about the importance of having good friends around that can call us out on our bullshit. Not in a, sometimes, I mean, you deserve to be a dick to me sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I am a dick to you.
Yeah, but
you deserve it.
It was warranted. But that's about having a good brotherhood around you. Yeah. Like, call each other out on the bullshit.
And realize that, well, guys can do this because they're not as sensitive, but, you know.
Dude, girls are so fucking two-faced. I'm like, oh my gosh, you look so pretty. Ah, she's so fat. What the fuck? What kind of fucking friend are you?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Stop lying to her.
If you're fucking gaining weight and be like, dude, you're looking a little pudgy around the waist.
Yeah, you've told me that.
Yeah, fuck you doing?
And I was like, fuck you, man.
Dude, Fiona said you had boobs.
I had boobs?
Yeah. Oh. Remember the other day you were shaving or something? She's like, you got boobs.
Well, my pecs are getting bigger. I don't know what do you want from me?
But we hold each other accountable. We help each other take ownership. I'm sorry, but if you're around people, and this was my biggest issue, this is why I'm glad I got away from all of that, is because I was around people that took away my ownership. They put me in positions where it wasn't conducive. They weren't good friends. They were influencing negative things in my life. And I had to get rid of that in order to see the whole bigger picture of what was really going on. Those aren't my fucking friends.
No, they were kind of manipulating you into what made them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Those are things that they enjoyed doing, and they wanted your presence while they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that wasn't what you wanted in the big picture, in the grand scheme of things.
Well, that's why I had to drop my ex. She wanted a lifestyle.
Many other reasons.
Well, there was a lot of reasons that should have never.
That.
No.
Not enough time.
That could be another podcast in itself. I had to take ownership of even just the friend group that I was around. Mm-hmm. Be like, no, I decide who I want around in my life. And here's what I've noticed, even guys are a little bit easier just because, like you had said, we're a little less sensitive when it comes to harsh criticism or constructive criticism. But what I've noticed too is women are very protective over their friend. Like, no, they're not a problem. They're fine. They're whatever. Really? You sure about that? Because she slept with 3 different people, cheated on her ex, and goes out drinking every night, twerking. That's really what you want to be around? Yeah. That's the environment that you want to be around?
But they will defend her to the death.
Right. And
you're like, really? Like,
right.
That's your best friend, and you want to hook her up with my best friend? I don't think so.
Well, this is why I'm grateful for Rebecca, is because she recognized that. And it took a little bit for her to finally see it. And I was, showing her things that she was kind of blind to. But I'm like, they're not good for you. Why? Oh, because X, Y, and Z. Pay attention to their actions. Lo and behold, she's had to drop a lot of her friends because of the lifestyle that they chose to live. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's not conducive for where you want to go. That's not good for you. That's not good for us. And if it's not good for you, it's definitely not good for us.
Right.
And I'll be damned if I let you bring something that's not good for us inside this relationship.
We just got to get her to like your best friend.
I know. We're working on it. I think the better we get, the better you guys will get. Because her biggest holdup was when I was still trying to fix myself and you were getting on my ass to get better. She didn't like that, but she also didn't know where you were coming from. Our history.
Yeah.
Which I took that and I appreciated you for calling me out on my shit and helping me take that level of ownership. And that's something that...
She's just trying to protect her boo.
Right, and I understand that, and I appreciate it. She doesn't want someone talking to me like that. But I see it as you were there before her, and you're coming from a different place. Mm-hmm. She see it as you're being a dick. I see it as, no, he's just being a really good friend right now.
Yeah. And guys are just different in how, like, especially
we communicate.
When they're close friends, I'll be like, what's up, pussy? And you're like, what's up, dickhead? Like, that's just how we say hi. And
hey,
like,
bitch.
Girls will look at that and be like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. They're like,
yeah.
How can you let him talk to you like that? Be like, what are you talking about? Like, for us, it's normal.
Yeah.
How's it any different when a girl's like, hey, bitch? Same shit. I don't think twice about it.
Dude, it'd be so weird if I went, hello, Mike.
Yeah.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Joe. How are you today?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What's up, player?
Be like, is everything okay, man?
Right. Hello, Michael.
Joseph.
Be like, that SpongeBob.
Hope your evening has been spectacular.
Right. Be like, that one SpongeBob episode. Hi, I'm normal.
It's weird. It's awkward.
No, you need that dynamic. And guys, take ownership of your fucking friend group. If you don't have guys that call you out, get motherfuckers that call you out. Not ones that...
Because that means they care.
Yes. Not showed me so much, especially when I was trying to get clean. And I tried to have, certain friends stay around and like, oh, here, you want a bump? Yeah. Oh, here, have another drink. Motherfucker, I'm trying to get clean. Why are you going to do that to me if that shows me that they don't really care? Or they don't care. Maybe they do care, but they don't care in a certain way. They care like, oh, I want to make sure you're alive and well and you're fun to hang out with and we have that dynamic. But it's not a level of care of like, no, I won't let you do this because I know that's not good for you.
Yeah. They like you being around because the part of them that they see in you is that fun party side. Mm-hmm. They don't look at the family man. They don't look at Joe the bodybuilder. They're looking at what pertains to them. And I've said this, I have friends that are, I don't want to say they're niche, but like they meet a certain
They have their
aspect.
role. They have their place.
They have their place in their role. Like I have my fire friends. I have my old school friends back in, that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. And then I have my new friends, and then there's a very handful of people that are just really close that are like my brothers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then, and then you have your acquaintances.
Yeah.
People that you might see every couple months.
In passing.
You're
nice
they're
to
fun to hang out with or so, shoot the shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But, Mark has become one of those. He's just more of an acquaintance.
Yeah, but I mean, he did knock a girl up, and he's going to be a dad.
But still, even in that situation, like, one, he doesn't even know what he's going through.
Yeah.
I have, he should be reaching out. And there's no reason. I'm like, dude, why don't you just, let's grill out sometime.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason. If you truly want to, be in someone's life, you'll reach out to them. You'll call them on a regular basis, check in with them, see how they're doing. Hey, how's your daughter? How's your, hey, happy birthday. We should go out and grab lunch. I didn't get that.
Yeah, and I've noticed it's hard to keep a really close friend group. I talk to 3 people every day.
It is.
You, because I live with you and you're my best friend. Stefan, because he's my training partner, and my other friend, and then Rebecca. Honestly, that's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I need right now.
Otherwise, it can also become overwhelming.
Right. Trying to
you don't have enough time.
Well, right, and then it's like, oh, I have to hang out with this person. I have to hang out with that. No, do what's best for you. Mm-hmm. But just as other people are a benefit to your life, you need to be a benefit to their life.
Yep.
And we've had that conversation where we got to the point where I was more of a hindrance on your life than a benefit.
Yep.
And when you put it that way, that honestly really hurt me. And I had to look at a lot of different things of like, what am I really doing? Because obviously I wanted to keep you as a friend. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, what do I need to change to unfuck this situation? Because we didn't start off like that.
Right.
So that means I had to look back and be like, no, here's where I fucked up along the line. Now I am full gun-ho to fucking part of the area in which I'm trying to correct in my life.
Yep. Yeah, and it's an uncomfortable conversation to have with one of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, you also have to take your feelings and what you value and then share that with them. And then if they don't value your opinion or your feelings about something, then they're not really your friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That means they're using you for their personal benefit. That's not somebody that you want in your life.
Oh.
If they're just using you for personal gain, fuck off.
Yeah. No, dude, it killed me when we had that conversation.
I know it did. But it's something that I needed to have. Mm-hmm. I needed to get off my chest because it was bugging me. And, there comes a point that, you've had enough.
Yeah.
And either something needs to change in a positive direction or you cut it loose.
Yeah.
And that's what I told you. I said, if things don't change, I got to move away from this because it's not good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was glad that I had that. I felt like a sense of relief after having that discussion. Mm-hmm. And as much as I didn't want you to feel hurt, like I didn't want the stress anymore.
Well, right. But it was not up to you how I felt.
Right.
You felt the way that you felt.
Yeah.
And regardless, you have absolutely no control over how I felt or how I took that.
Right. And if you feel bad about it, then that means something. Mm-hmm. Right? If you were just like, whatever, bro, that means you really don't give a fuck. And that would have been enough for me to be like, you know what? See you later. And then it would just be just Joe on the podcast.
Yeah, no, I could have. No, I took that conversation to such heart. I've been busting my ass ever since to make sure everything stays in line.
Yeah, and you've definitely done a lot better. And, I recognize, too, your efforts and what you're trying to do with yourself. And that's also like, I don't need to see you every day. I really don't. I don't want to see you every day. You know what I mean? We have a good time. We have a lot of fun. But I see what you're trying to do. And I recognize the effort that you're putting into your life and in your relationship and your work and your bodybuilding and everything else trying to get, your future established. Mm-hmm. And you know what? True friends, you could be gone for months and then see them. And it's like time stopped.
Yeah, I mean, we see each other in passing now, but I feel like our relationship has been a lot better.
It is better. And because it also is balancing out again. And when those scales are tipped, you gotta say something.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm honestly really glad that we both took ownership of our own feelings and move forward. And guys, this is so to kind of wrap it up here. This is what happens when you start to take ownership of certain things in your life. Your relationship will start to get better. Your work will start to get better. Your body will start to get better because you're taking ownership of what you're putting into your body. Your mentality will start to get better because you'll actually start to own up to how you're feeling. And a lot of the emotions and stuff that maybe you've been hiding for too long. Maybe you've been putting away for too long and covering it up with sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be. And guess what? Now it's time to shed some light on that. Now it's time to own up to how you're really feeling, what you're really doing, how you're really acting, and everything like that. So taking ownership in every single aspect of your life and everything that you can and should be doing will help you leaps and bounds. And I've seen that alone just in the past 4 or 5 months, a complete 180 and leaps and bounds and changes. Granted, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm on such a better path because I decided I needed to, if I want to have certain things that I want to have in life, with friendships, relationship, job, whatever, I'm like, things got to change. And no one's going to change it unless I change it. So do you have any closing thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
No, man. I think that we hit all the hot button topics and things that we were trying to achieve out of this particular podcast. So
awesome.
I like the studio space, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hopefully we can keep going with something like this and get it out there. More people need to hear this message. I feel like a lot of more common folk can really relate to it.
Yep.
But other than that, guys, like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Don't forget, if you're looking for supplements, if you're in the fitness industry, the link in bio, or BUTTICE was my last name, 10 will get you 10% off. Shout out to LFG Seltzer, even though I'm sober right now, or trying to be, even though I'm probably going to have a drink after the show to celebrate.
Yeah, follow us on TikTok. I'm at JustMike0829 and
JB Motivation 777. But yeah, guys, I'll post a question up in the description of the podcast. Let us know what you think about the new setup. Is there anything you want to see differently? Is there certain topics you want us to hit on? Is there certain things that maybe you guys would like to see out of this? Really, if I find the time to wipe my ass, we'd love to get the merch site back up and running and get Just Mike shirts and hats and stuff like that, because we all need that one friend that gives the hard truth advice that we all need to hear. But other than that, guys, stay positive, stay motivated, stay uncrowned.